Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and today I've got game 1 of a best of 3 coming up. It's a ZvZ and it's from WCS EU Challenger Qualifiers Season 3. That was a mouthful, but it is going to be a really good game. It is between, spawning the top left position, the yellow Zerg player, LoWeLy, and his opponent down in the bottom right, the pink Zerg, JonnyREcco. So, going down on Acklon Waste, it should be good being a best of 3. And of course, a lot on the line. I don't remember, if I'm honest, because Season 3 was a little while ago, who qualified through this qualifier. But I seem to think that it was one of these two. Maybe, maybe not. I'm confused. Anyway, as we can see, both players getting overlords down, so we're not going to be getting any 6 pools or anything like that. Acklon Waste, quite a good map to go for a hatch first on. It's got quite a long rush distance. You're relatively safe. Not too much bad things can happen to you, but being game 1 of a best of 3, we may see them try and go a little bit more safely, perhaps throwing down a pool first, just to make sure that they're not going to die to anything cheesy. But yeah, JonnyREcco, he's definitely a macro-orientated player. LoWeLy, probably just going to go for this pool if I had to put some money on it. But for the moment, all looking good. Both going up to 14 drones. Should see 15 starting. There we go, 15 starting for LoWeLy any second. Unless he's going to go... well, no, he should start... why is he not starting it? Okay, this is... oh, he's getting 14 hatch. Okay. That's a bit more unusual. You usually see a 15 hatch. But anyway, that's cool. What he can do with this is it just means he squeezes out slightly sooner, and he can also get down his spawning pool a fraction quicker if he wants to. It should finish up as well to sync up with both hatches finishing, or the second hatch finishing as the spawning pool is done, and therefore he can jump out 2 queens straight away to get those double injects going. Now Recco, he started out with the spawning pool first, so he's now going to be going into his hatchery. That means that he gets a queen quite a bit quicker than that of LoWeLy. Roughly about 40 seconds quicker, which may not seem like much, but that's an entire inject, so he's going to be up by 3 lava very early on. 4 lava. God, I can't believe I made that mistake. As you can tell, I am quite snoozy. Snoozy is the technical term for being tired nowadays. I'm going to try and make that catch on. But yeah, anyway, Overlord making its way forward. Just going to get confirmation on both sides that, hey, my opponent's making a hatchery, and it's all good. Really, the benefit of this is, if you don't see a hatchery, or rather there's not a hatchery coming down, it's still coming over the main path out of your opponent's base, and it's been kind of traveling along that way, so if there were any Zerglings coming, you would see them, and you would be aware that, hey, bad things are probably about to happen. Now, in terms of gas, both players are mining the same amount at pretty much the same time. Currently, LoWeLy 4 Vespian ahead, but that's a fraction of an amount that's not even going to make any difference in this game unless something crazy happens. So really now we're just keeping an eye out whether they pull drones out of gas when they reach 100 and get Zergling speed started, or whether they keep some or all of those drones they're mining away for banelings or whatever else they may have planned. Now, double queen for LoWeLy coming down, but JonnyREcco moving in with just 2 lone Zerglings. Of course, they're going to poke and prod away at these poor drones, but with a queen coming out, the drone should be absolutely fine. One becomes an extractor. No drone goes out of drone school and thinks, do you know what, when I grow up, I want to be an extractor. They hope to be a baling nest or a hatchery, but unfortunately, some just become extractors, and it's always sad. They probably didn't do well in their drone exams, but it's a shame, but someone's got to be an extractor. Anyway, I'm sorry if you heard that massive explosion, by the way. There are fireworks apparently going on outside my house, or someone is being shot with a cannon. I kind of hope the latter, to be honest. It'd be a lot more exciting, and I'll probably have, like, police around in a minute. So if you hear sirens, it was a cannon. If you don't, it was a firework. But I thought they'd stop. Anyway, Baling nests coming down here on both sides, so these could be defensive banelings, they could be offensive banelings. Tough to tell at the moment. They are both still mining with 3 drones in gas, so still both on very similar gas amounts. LoWeLy getting up a lair, quite a chunk quicker than that of Recco. He's also taking his second, third, and fourth gas, which really just suggests it's going to be a quick Mutalisk play. Recco as well, though, getting up his lair. His is about 15 seconds behind that of his opponent, but that isn't a huge chunk. He's getting up the additional gases too. That's going to give LoWeLy probably about 50 to 100 gas advantage just in terms of getting the drones on, assuming they both saturate basically as quickly as possible. So just a small little boost here for LoWeLy. He's clearly going to like that, be relatively happy about it. Recco only now just bring this in there. There we go. Roughly about just over a 50 gas advantage, which may not seem like much, but it may allow him to squeeze out, say, an extra Mutalisk fractionally sooner. Especially if any drones get taken out that are on the gas for JonnyREcco by a little Zergling run by, such as the one that's bounding and leaping forward towards that third base. Now, with both players going Mutalisks, there's obviously three big things to think about. One, who's got more Mutalisks? Pretty obvious. Who's got the better upgrade, specifically the Flyer Carapace upgrade to reduce damage to the bouncing glaives, and who has the ground control to soak up some of those bouncing glaives if it goes down. That's really going to affect how it goes, but more to the point, it's whether either player is able to get any spore crawlers down and force an engagement over them, because that's what buys you some time. If you're a little bit down, and the moment we see Rico, he's already about 30 seconds down on that Spire. Could be a bit more. The longer it goes on, obviously, the worse it gets for Rico at the moment. But he can defend for a while. Okay, so there we go. Goes down. It's about 40 seconds late. That's actually quite a long period of time, and not going to be too beneficial unless he's able to deal some damage. But of course, with a lot of lings running around, with these banelings waddling, there may be the opportunity to do something good. Both players are trying to just find a little distance to go and poke him, being aggressive LoWeLy, just to cover for the fact that he doesn't actually have much to really play with. He's only got 25 army supply and 2 banelings. Most of that's out on the map, but what he is doing is making quite a few lings, forcing JonnyREcco to make a lot more too. These banelings, one does detonate there on 2 lings. That's a nice little trade there for JonnyREcco. He saves both of his banelings, wants to try and get a big detonation if he can. No, of course, this Ling Bling micro, always the intensive side. One baneling goes down, and JonnyREcco now, with the superior numbers, going to start moving forward. Does get some detonations down, and oh, that was a massive hit. That is really unfortunate for Rico, just as those banelings were finishing morphing, and of course that's a lot of damage. 10 Mutalisks coming down here for LoWeLy. Hasn't started the +1 Carapace yet, but he is almost certainly going to force a cancel at this third. Big win for him there, because his own third base is coming up. That's about 200 gas a minute more if he takes the 5th and 6th geyser straight away. But still, forward comes Rico, trying just to bait these Zerglings into the baneling, but well, good control by LoWeLy means it is not going to happen that way. LoWeLy now pulling back, but he's got a lot of Mutalisks. Remember, JonnyREcco getting 10 out himself. Both players starting the +1 Flyer Carapace simultaneously. Already, though, we do see that LoWeLy has got those 10 Mutalisks out, so he's still going to be ahead. He's got a higher gas income at the moment as well. About 680 compared to 480. So 200 more gas a minute, 2 more Mutalisks a minute in real terms, and that's going to give him a nice little boost there. Now, what can Rico do with how he's positioned here? What can he make work? Well, if he takes out some overlords like this, it's going to be good. It potentially supply blocks LoWeLy, as that has done, which means that his production is going to be cut. It also means that he's losing map vision, gives him an option to do some cool stuff. Also, it's great that Rico double expanding after forcing to cancel that third. And the reason for that is because he knows that he's going to be a little bit behind in terms of the gas income, and therefore has to make that up. And taking that sneaky 4th base a little bit quicker is the way that he can do it. It'll allow him to maybe just get a slight lead, or at least catch up to level out this game. So for the moment, both players' Mutalisk flocks are pretty similar in size, 14 to 15. Both players with a +1 Flyer Carapace on its way. The key difference, though, is of course LoWeLy has some gas banked up. He's a bit starved of minerals for the time being, but he's still got a lot of Mutalisks on the way out. JonnyREcco hasn't opted to get any spore crawlers as of yet. His queen count is perfectly normal, just sitting there at 2, but he does now have 4 bases about to be up, and that's where he can potentially sneak out some gains. And of course, little gains like that make the difference, especially in mirror matchups. So we'll probably see an engagement come down relatively soon. Once LoWeLy's +1 Flyer Carapace kicks in, he might try and go for the money, but it's going to be tough because Rico, he's doing a good job. He's still picking off these overlords. Any of them may be around. He's got 4 bases up, whereas LoWeLy only, well, actually not even going to start up his 4th base yet. So still just sitting there on 3. Quite a long way for Rico to catch up, though, in terms of the gas. A lot has been mined for LoWeLy. The Mutalisk flock is 6 in favour of the yellow Zerg player. Can Rico, though, get the ground superiority, be able to knock out these Zerglings and banelings so his own ground units can soak up some of the bouncing glaives, because that's where you can get an advantage. Can the Queens play a good part, deal some good damage, or little things like that? Picking off a Mutalisk for nothing is always going to help. It just swings things slightly more into your favour. Trades coming on both sides. The Spine Caller is there. We're going to have a big engagement here. Who is going to come up on top? Well, currently the ground army, it's hard to tell who's winning there, but Rico, of course, does have the Queens under the army for the time being. LoWeLy, though, starting to lose a couple more Mutalisks. Of course, as the Mutaflock gets lower, the defender's advantage becomes more important, the Queens become more important, the Transfuse is absolutely essential. JonnyREcco chasing this army down. It's 10 to 12 Mutalisks, but the Queens are swinging things into Rico's favor. Remember, Rico is still mining up on those 6 geysers. Could do with getting his 7th and 8th, though, just to help things along. He's got a Spore Crawler there, or at least in production, they're ready to try and make things work, but those Mutalisks coming in will snipe it down very quickly. Rico needs to go over and defend that just to make sure that he keeps up. Runs in. Will he get a Mutalisk kill? Not quite, but he does get quite a lot of stuff pretty down low. So that means that there's going to be 2 minutes until this Mutaflock back to full health maximum, but still, it buys a bit of time for Johnny, who's still down by 4 Mutalisks, but he's got that 4th base up. If you take a look here at really what's coming down for LoWeLy, he's not really transitioning out of this. He's about to have +1 flag carapace done, which is a little way ahead of that of JonnyREcco's by about 15 seconds. So, small window of opportunity where trades would be good. But remember, there's Spores and Queens here for Rico at the moment, and they will be incredibly effective in just giving a defender's advantage and maybe allowing any fights to go in favour of the pink Zerg. Now, this is really smart by LoWeLy. Just trying to pick off any drones in gas. He knows he doesn't have his own 7th and 8th Vespian Geyser, so he needs to try and deny it from Rico, because that's what's giving him a small window of opportunity. A couple of Lings are running through there, but will get shut down by Rico's own Zerglings. All of the aggression is really coming down from LoWeLy at the moment. Johnny just happy to sit back for the time being. Note that he's up slightly in the gas income, but only by about 100 Vespian a minute, so that's still a Mutalisk per minute, but not as big as it potentially would like to be. Resources lost, JonnyREcco currently only losing about 300 more resources than that of LoWeLy. Very small amounts, but enough to actually mean that, hey, if that's like a Mutalisk, maybe 2 Mutas, so very good. Now, all in all, this is just going fairly straight in terms of everything that's going on. JonnyREcco's Mutalisk flock up now to 25, but 33 are there for LoWeLy. LoWeLy's got equal upgrades. JonnyREcco sitting at 1-1, LoWeLy sitting at 1 air weapons. But look at this, the Banelings now starting to move forward. They're going to go for a nice little bit of fun. The Mutalisks prioritizing them, but unfortunately, a couple of Mutas heading up in towards this 4th base. JonnyREcco will lose one of those Vespian Geysers, but no, LoWeLy still hasn't secured a 4th base, hasn't even started to produce it yet, which just means the longer this game goes on, the better it gets for JonnyREcco, and that's really good news for him. But +2 flyer carapace coming down compared to +2 flyer attack. Note the flyer attack and +2 carapace take the same amount of time, but JonnyREcco ahead by about 20 seconds in getting down that attack upgrade, which may be important if there is an engagement in that period where he is at 2-1 compared to 1-1. Will it come down though? We'll have to wait and see. For the moment, more Spores are getting started too here at the 4th base. Rico knows that's really his saving grace. In terms of vision for Rico, I don't know if he's got anything much. I don't think he has, but he does have a few Overlords a little far forward here, which are going to start taking some damage. JonnyREcco is now supply blocked, which is very frustrating. Queens are able to take down the Zergling run by, but unfortunately a lot of Overlords get taken down. This is problematic. Queens trying to shuffle their way over, need to get some Transfuses down, are going to be able to secure that up, and now for the moment LoWeLy forced to retreat back, play things a little bit more defensively. Trade though is coming down once again. JonnyREcco up on Mutalisk by quite a large chunk here actually, 23 to, well, now 19, but of course reinforcements coming in. JonnyREcco knows he's coming out better on this trade and is just sitting on top of LoWeLy, trying to work through it. GG is called, and JonnyREcco will take game number 1 of this best of 3. So if you like that, like the video, leave a cool comment and subscribe, then jump over to my channel and I'll see you at game 2 in just a sec.